Yo ho ho! What's going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper bringing you One Punch Man, Chapter 129 Predictions. We're going to keep the prediction streams going. We're going to keep this Corona marathon going. As you guys already know, half the world, or the majority of the world, is currently being quarantined, huddled up, not huddled up, but you obviously get what I'm getting at. The pandemic is real and it's rising. So, in the meantime, we'll be upping or keeping consistent our production and our releases. Now, in regards to the chapter, we're not sure if it's coming out tomorrow or if it's coming out Monday, or if it's going to be on an indefinite hiatus due to the working conditions of Japan or due to like the working conditions of a mangaka and how that process works. I'm not 100% like in the know of it, but I'm assuming that you're going to have multiple workers, touching the same materials in immediate vicinity of each other. So there may be a risk, and those officers may want to attempt to alleviate that issue or that stress. So we don't necessarily know if the chapter's coming out tomorrow, if it's coming out Monday like it did last week because of Murata's traveling issues, or if we're just not going to get a chapter in general. Let's hope that we do get the chapter tomorrow, and let's hop into the predictions if we do. So as we saw in chapter 129, the storyline is being pushed forward to a farther extent. Now, in this dynamic or in this aspect, we have the strongest in the series so far in terms of like monsters for the association, Sairochi. Combination of Orochi and Psychos in one place. Saitama is within the same area, Flash is within the same area, and Tatsumaki is directly fighting. Now, as we saw, Tatsumaki, after almost losing, getting hurt pretty badly, she's back into it. And she's even, like, voiced her desire to flip the Monster Association based on its head. So, the first instance that we should think about is if Saitama and Flash get involved with this fight. Now, because Orochi already fought Saitama, I don't think that's going to happen. Or at least it'll be an instance or some time before Orochi finds Saitama because he's the one trying to find him. And not so much Saitama's trying to find Orochi. Saitama's looking for a different Monster King or the Monster King, and Orochi's already the obstacle that's been surpassed. So, with that possibility being on the lesser end of things, I want to entertain what's more likely that Tatsumaki's going to take on Orochi by himself. Now, when I say by himself, this chapter we saw what happened to Psychos' unified body. She was proclaiming as if she had control, as if she had like full management over Orochi's facilities. But as we saw, half of the body was Orochi's control, and half of the body was speaking as if it was Orochi, with Orochi's intentions and memories and thoughts. So, how long can Psychos maintain this hold on Orochi? It's going to be like one of those story tropes, a way to like prolong the fight or prolong the instance for the final encounter? Or is Orochi going to immediately take Psychos, and is that going to make him stronger? This like form we have right now, this like superior state, where it seems more focused and just a goo that's everywhere. This seems like it's, I don't want to say just spurred on by Psychos, but there could be more inspiration behind it. We know that officially, according to Murata, its design is based on the design of a neuron in a brain. So exactly how you want to say that, take that or see that, that's up to you. I don't necessarily think the design is cool looking, but at least we have a reference point for it. But the fact that it took this shape, whether it's because of Psychos' influence or whether it's because this is how the fusion's going to look like, we don't know yet. But let's assume that it's because of Psychos' influence that Orochi's forced into this form with Psychos on top of him. If that's the case, then whenever Orochi overwhelms Psychos, we should see a change in design or a change in form. It could be a completely different one. It could be a return to Orochi's original snake-like state, snake-like form, where he had like snakes and dragons coming out of everywhere, literally making limbs from the heads and bodies of snakes. That could be the case. We could see the Prime Orochi form that we saw up against Saitama, which was more of a variant of what we just spoke about, the snake dragon limbs. But there's no reason as to why we couldn't go into it directly, which is a possibility. Or we could definitely see an evolution from what we currently have, this neuron-like, cocoon-like, insect-like thing with Psychos on top. That could form into something else. Whether it's a woman, going with the emphasis of Psychos' body, whether it's a male male form, taking the emphasis of Orochi's body, since he does have most of the control, or he will have control if we're assuming this actually happens. I'm stating that because if Psychos has half of the control of the body, she was manifesting her body physically. We saw that. Orochi is also manifesting himself physically as well. So I'm wondering if Orochi happens to take the majority of the control. Let's say that Psychos isn't completely shifted out in this encounter, right? Or in the situation that we're discussing. Then I would assume that the new design would have some type of influence based on what Psychos is about, her personality, or her subjugation. Something of that sort should influence the design. But I'm not sure the exact instance of it. I'm not sure if actually Psychos is going to be left alive after the situation. Now, I don't think that she can necessarily be redeemed because she hasn't been given that much information for her redemption. Neither was Shiryu that much, but Shiryu's redemption wasn't or isn't as drastic as what Psychos could be. I'm obviously not implying, or I'm not becoming an advocate for Psychos joining the Hero Association, because that just can't be the case. We've seen the extent of her evils. We've heard the extent of her experimentation. Like, she's not a very good person. Like, she's not. So it may be like far-fetched for me to propose an idea that like she could be redeemed to an extent or become a pivotal part of the hero's plot. But I just don't want to lose those titties, bro. Them titties are big, look sexy, the hair looks nice, she's cute, the glasses, like she's an ideal woman. She's like the older woman. Like Tatsumaki's like, I'm gonna say like late 20s or something like that kind of appearance, like mid 20s or whatever. Like Fubuki's like the early 20s and the teens or whatever. But Psychos is like she's a grown ass woman. You know, so like 35 or something like that, like low 30s, mid 30s. But she has it on. I don't want to see that character leave. I was stricken when Dos S left us. I don't want to see it happen again. With that being one of my main reasons to keep Psychos, another reason to keep Psychos is because of the diversity of her power. Now, I'm not saying that Tatsumaki can't learn from Psychos, even though that sounds kind of crazy because you think that Tatsumaki's stronger. But like, there are some different things that Psychos is doing that Tatsumaki has not shown even an inkling of, and the same vice versa. But you tell me you wouldn't love to see Tatsumaki shoot out laser beams from her eyes like Psychos did, or laser beams from her fingers as a variant? Like, that'd be pretty badass. Or being able to control puppets and monsters from far away. What if Tatsumaki took like debris off the ground of a city because a monster was there attacking while she's at home, and then she formed it up into like some huge Colossus type monster to fight the other Colossus, like the dinosaur that showed up in the briefly in the manga and in the anime adaptation? What if she fought that with like debris that she was able to lift, animate, and manipulate, kind of like the puppet that Giro had just done, but on a non-organic basis? I'm just saying that like Psychos has brought different things to the table when it comes to psychic capabilities, and I'm really excited to see what else she'll do before she leaves, or if she'll have some other great display in the meantime, either with Orochi's help or without Orochi's help. I'm kind of hoping this design that we have right now will leave. If we lose this design, then I won't have a problem with Psycho staying relevant in the story alongside Orochi or without Orochi for a longer time period. But I just don't like the appearance of the design. It's just not appealing to me whatsoever. I have a problem with it. But to end it off, I'm expecting Orochi to overwhelm Psychos and get a new form in the next chapter. Then, with an encounter with Tatsumaki, hopefully she won't completely get her ass beat, but I do want to see a display from Orochi. I do want to see a display from Tatsumaki, so I want to get a longer chapter as well too. Maybe the coronavirus will help extend the time period in which we are getting this content, or the pages that we do get for this chapter, maybe the next chapter. If that's the case, then, you know, hooray for Corona. But if not, then it is what it is. But like I said, I am expecting that to happen. I'm not sure if Flash is going to get involved. Like I said, I don't want Saitama to get involved, and I don't think he will. But I'm wondering if other heroes will actually come into play with the fight, including Tatsumaki. That's to be seen. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and we'll be back tomorrow with more. Yo!